are expected to be bottom 4, but now they're facing up against Team Secret, who are supposed to be, anyway, the top dogs of the group. Not actually the reality for this season, though, Kyle.
Indeed, they're actually still part of that bottom 4, at least as the standings appear now.
They certainly are.
And the scuffed spray coming out, Arteezy's beautiful face. This is the first time I've seen him streaming in a while. If you're watching, please feel free.
Yeah, so just for everybody knows, yeah, if you could tell right there, Secret are supporting evil geniuses. As I have no doubt that Zai was probably leading that charge, as yes, they were spamming that one earlier. Stop jungling, let's push. And then Insania was spamming his own line, which is, I know we probably lost, but let's try anyway.
That's a great life motto. We're going to see this all day. Probably all week, all year perhaps, depends on how long these last. But yeah, to set the stage, you know, Liquid, they're in a scenario, they can still come out first of this group and put themselves in a great place to qualify, but they would need to beat Secret, beat OG, and then win a tiebreaker against Alliance. So must win. And Secret, they're just trying to get to the major. They're qualified to TI, but would probably like to spare themselves the embarrassment of possibly being relegated, which is in the cards if they were to lose here today.
Can you imagine some insane scenario? We're going to TI, but we're also a lower division team.
See you after TI. What would happen? You know, you win TI. Does that help you? Is there a provision that you get upgraded? Or would
I mean, that would be common sense, but at the same time, I mean, rules are rules.
Rules are rules, Cap. Rules are rules.
Nice D-ward there by Secret. Of course, you saw the nice ward bro being spammed by Liquid as they do get D-warded. All right, so our top lane matchup, the Secret did do a bit of a swerve. They picked up the Sand King. They're like, here's our offlaner, here's our offlaner. Boom, it's a 4 position. We actually have Beastmaster instead. Do you like this? Do you think that swerve is actually going to be good for Secret?
I mean, I love Beastmaster. I think it's underpicked. Yes, we removed Necro. Yes, the Ags was nerfed, but the hero itself got a ton of buffs. Look at that base damage with the Bracer, 68 damage. You are one of the only offlaners that is actually like more base damage than a Void. That's insanity. They are going to initiate on him.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah. The hero just lanes super well. I think the HOD, the Vlads, the Solar Crest, all these items are still built quite nicely. It's just a question of how well can you do in lane. I think Fogged was correct. You should have a little bit of concern. A Sandstorm level 1 Sand King, not exactly the ideal laning partner as a 4 position?
Yeah, I was going to transition to that. You're talking about how Beastmaster's so good. His stats are great. Look at his damage. It's amazing. But Sand King as a 4 position is the downside, right? That is not a good laning support for you at all, and it is beginning to cost Zai a bit as he is constantly being forced away from the creep wave.
Yeah, bottom lane as well. Secret should have an edge. Just the AIPA spam is quite tough to deal with, although I expect Koifa's wand will certainly pay dividends. He's really disciplined about that. All the Liquid guys are. If it's a lane that's good for a stick, almost all of them are going to pick one up. In fact, Taiga even started the game with one. My concern in the top lane is when you think about Beastmaster dominating lanes, it was with a more aggressive partner, you know, like the Dazzle Beastmaster of old. Sand King, this isn't really what you're looking to have him, your partner, do. You want to be trading hits against this Void. Beastmaster can't do it by himself. But I guess he can at least kind of poke Insania.
And if it's going okay now, it should get better as time goes on, right? Like Sand King, the problem with Sand King as a support is he just sucks level 1. But you get him to level 3, level 5, and his power spikes start helping win the lane a little bit. What about our mid lane matchup? This is going to be a fun one.
That's the one I've been watching.
Nisha versus Sumail. Puck versus Leshrac.
Yeah, it's again we've seen this a few times. Puck has a tough time manning up on runes because if you get caught in Edict range with no orb, you just feed. You have such limited base armor, but you have more base damage and you have a much more effective time hitting your opponent with your nuke. And 10 damage in the mid lane is a pretty significant add. And you also obviously can juke the auto attack. Lesh stun is pretty easy to dodge as well with the phase shift. So expect Nisha to pull ahead. But then Sumail should have an easier time accelerating, farming stacks, pushing the lane later on.
And it's a bit like a DK is, Sumail.
Yeah.
Getting a bit low. It's a bit like the DK versus Puck matchup, right? Whereas Puck wants to be able to rotate anywhere, he's going to find that his tower may die very quickly. So that is going to be something that Secret are going to have to solve.
Just got to be careful. Yeah, you can see you're forced to spend more mana than you may like just because Puck is always hitting you with the Q. You have a hard time doing the same.
Our first blood still open in the air here, trying to go for the skewer back. Does manage to get him. Taiga very low, so he's unable to assist that attempted kill onto Puppey. He'll take last hits while Koifa is away. How do you feel Koifa has transitioned to back to the off lane?
Oh, very well. I love what he's been doing. I think his hero pool is still a bit limited. We haven't really seen him play much outside of maybe Slardar and Mag, but I do like the way he's adjusted. Even if you look at his skill build, 2 points in Q, that was changed in that last patch. Empower got a slight nerf, or a buff rather, but more importantly, the Shockwave had a mana cost reduction, so super valuable, especially when you rush this stick against two heroes that are always spamming spells.
Too bad, Taiga. If he had gone for that suicide in the tower 5 seconds later, then he would have found a courier kill to go with it. But as it is, he just wants to be able to reset, come back in the lane, ferry a bunch of regen for Koifa, who is kind of needing it due to, as you said, all the spam of the daggers from the PA. Top lane still going at it. But now the boar is getting tough to be able to nuke down, and Mickey is having a harder and harder time being able to push Zai out of lane.
Is Zai also going for the stats build, you know, double bracer. I'm curious to see how he's going to itemize up here. Now a raindrop in boots, because there's a lot of arguments here. You can go for the aura build, you can still try to play with creep army and just get the early HOD, but typically when we saw HODs picked up, they were rushed. So I expect him to go for maybe just a first item Solar Crest, more of a battle build. Who knows? He has nothing queued up.
Here comes Mickey. He's going to time walk into this one and manage to get a lucky first hit bash here, which will allow him to do a lot more damage onto Zai as he chases him down, but the boar will allow him to disengage, and that is part of the problem. Bottom lane, Koifa going in for a deep dive here to try and finish off Puppey.
Wow, he even has the 2 points in Skewer. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Typically, you'll see Empower skilled up earlier just because at a point he'll be moving around Mickey and giving him that free Battle Fury, but more of the laning pressure build.
Was tripping out for a moment there. I was like, wait, when did we get a kill?
Yeah.
It was just a suicide earlier. That first blood is still available, and they're going to go for it on the side of Liquid. A two-man Shockwave Skewer combination, and Puppey is going to be left behind, while Matumba Man is able to use his mobility, jump away to safety. First blood going to Taiga.
So you're saying, how is he adjusting? Well, what was that, a two-person Shockwave and just Skewer back combo? You're typically going to find it challenging to do that onto just one target. But both mid laners like to watch this. Sumail, you know, we remove luck from the first couple of runes, but 6 minutes he grabs an arcane rune. That's money in the bank right there. And now he's top net worth because of his ability to then farm out the jungle with ease.
Did he have stacks available, or was that just...
I believe there was a double on the hard camp by Ancient Stack. I could be incorrect.
That would do it. Sumail stacking for himself there. So if I had to guess, probably stack the easy camp once and then stack the hard camp when he made that rotation over.
But this is nice. Yapsor, you see him, he's finding the stacks that were placed up top.
Nice.
There is a ward, defensive ward placed because they wanted to protect
Mickey
these.
over and everything. They really want to punish Yapsor for this, and they're going to go for it. He's going to be stuck here, taking a lot of damage, but does have the Burrow Strike onto 2, going the other direction, away from Mickey, but is too slow to be able to stay ahead of them. Should be dying here. Insania gets the kill. It's remarkable that they actually, it's not many times you'd see a carry be willing to leave his lane to protect that stack like he did.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the Liquid style, especially now with Sumail in the mid lane, playing around his Leshrac, especially in this game as more of the carry. I love Sumail's itemization. You grabbed an early cloak, expect that to become an eternal shroud at a point. I've been talking with T-Gov about this. You don't get the spell amplification stack if you were to say go Bloodstone, an extra shroud, but the lifesteal from spells does stack.
Taking advantage of the death, Yapsor gonna make a Sandstorm Burrow Strike play, but he's taking too much damage. They did not estimate their damage correctly as Sumail was able to tank through it in part, Kyle, because the 15%.
15% bonus magic resistance cap.
Pretty crazy. Now Matumba Man's in a bit of trouble here. So they're going to give him the cookie. Pops right on over. He's got a dagger, and I thought maybe he would go for the kill onto Taiga, but instead Matumba Man trying to value his own life and his own escape out of here. But there's not a ton of places he can run to here. The Shockwave's going to catch up to him. It's going to take a long time for Liquid to chase him down. But Insania's looking to be able to cut him off, and Taiga's there with the cookie. So eventually they find the kill.
Yeah, really nice job from Liquid so far. Just playing fast around the map. We just see the supports consistently finding space. This is the trouble, again, with the Sand King as a hero. you sort of fill the same role in a game as a Tusk, as an Earth Spirit, but you don't really roam. The Sandstorm's nice for pushing lanes, but you can't do that against heroes like the Shrek.
Yeah.
And it's just underwhelming as a hero concept. And now he might be dead.
It's one of the most valuable things is being able to protect your towers with Sandstorm, but he just cannot do this underleveled against a Leshrac who's very strong. Matamba Man rotating like that, but it does leave Puppey alone, trying to get solo experience, trying to get to his level 6, but is instead found and killed. 2-7 Liquid off to a decent start. Obviously, numbers are very high for them, but just a 1K gold lead for now. What do you think is the difference between Secret this season and last season?
Oh, I thought they might go for that there. I mean, perhaps a little bit is complacency. We even heard in the interview, Yaps were saying how he's very serious, but of course Zai was, you know, just, he was, I don't know what he's doing in quarantine, to be honest, but apparently he'd been playing too much backgammon and didn't focus enough on his Dota studies. They are pretty much qualified for TI, so not as much pressure, maybe draft experimenting, or perhaps just the other teams got their asses in gear because, you know, it's put up or shut up time now in the DPC.
Do you feel like the new patch hurt Secret in any specific way, or is it just a general change is going to hurt a team that was super dominant before?
A bit of both. I also think all the competition got better, right? We've discussed, I feel like this Liquid lineup is certainly playing better than the last seasons.
Yeah.
Miracle.
Alliance looks top-notch again, like they did last season.
Miracle back to mid for Nigma, I think, is also definitely impactful.
True.
OG, you know, started trying again. Good to see.
Brought Anna back into Page. They're going to go for the kill on Mickey here, and they certainly have enough disables to kill him. It's 4 different heroes to the top lane. The 5th one is Puppey sitting mid, but he just cannot stay in lane for long, constantly being hunted down.
I love this Eternal Shroud item. I'm surprised we haven't seen it in so long on a Leshrac, on a hero like Death Prophet, because it removes the negative mana effects from popping a hood.
Yeah.
You get the increased survivability, but you actually get more mana back if you get the full spell absorption, which is quite easy when you look at the raw amount of magical power on Team Secret. You can't turn it off, and if you're going to kill Lesh, it's going to be through magic damage. So it's a way to increase your damage output in fights, but dramatically increase your survivability as well, which is something I'm always a fan of.
It feels a little antithetical to how you want to deal with a Leshrac. He shows up, he's just raw damage. You want to focus that guy down, but if you do that, you're actually giving him mana.
Indeed.
More power to be able to keep his nukes going.
And Leshrac is a hero that if he is able to run in, that is when the hero is effective. They also have, of course, an Oracle, so the more resistance, there's this age-old discussion about what's better, just raw HP versus resistance in the form of physical or magical. Whenever the more HP you have through healing, through sustain, the better resistance becomes. So it's even more valid here because you have an Oracle that's going to represent so much healing behind you.
And it's beginning to show its effect here with Liquid building a bit more of a net worth lead, but
it takes the mana cost on activating the hood down to just 60, but you can get restored 400, which is the block that would then be absorbed. So it actually turns his mana pool into close to 1300.
Now, one problem Liquid may have is, well, they won't have a problem killing Yapzor. It's looking like he's just nuked down. I was going to say the Beastmaster. Beastmaster did take his tower, is beginning to assert some control over this side of the map, and may even be able to find a pick-off, but Koifa...
Spidey senses.
Yeah, wise to a potential gank here. Managed to get away from the Ice Blast and the Primal Roar combination. Now Sumail give it a heal that allows him to feel good about going back in. Puppey's here as well, but they don't have the Ice Blast. Nisha really trying to gun for this kill as they have the rotation coming over from Zai, but Sumail just charges forward, and he's like, okay, you've got your boars? Not anymore. Zapzor finds an opening. Nice play by Insania with the Fate's Edict before he came down from the Burrow Strike, so he didn't take any damage there.
Insania's doing a great job stacking whenever he has free time, consistently playing around his course properly. And Liquid have adjusted quite nicely into this 3 Protect 2 style. Sumail and Mickey all farm happy. Koifa is pretty content. He's got his Blink Dagger Arcanes. He's ready to either make moves or become an Empower bot. Meanwhile, Secret, kind of in this 3-core style, the PA needs some more time to come online. Also going for a slower build. Has to buy the Battle Fury. He doesn't get the built-in Empower. Nice RP.
Straight up RP. They also had the Fortune's End to be able to lock Nisha in place a little bit longer, but it wasn't quite what Koifa was hoping for because he didn't get the skewer. May not matter, though. Time dilation. And puck's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they brought plenty of heroes, but not the greatest synergy there. They didn't have the skewer. Not quite sure. They just messed up a little bit there. I think that was a Fortune's End pre-channeled on the mag that then didn't land, so.
Oh, trying to catch up to him to get the lightning slow, to get the follow-up, but not quite there. You can see Liquid's have an understanding. They feel much stronger than Team Secret right now, and they're just running at heroes wherever they show up on the map.
Yeah. And it's just tough for Secret to do anything about this. The limitations of their draft, right? PA, he's just going to farm. This hero can't really do anything in a fight till post BKB. Nisha is attempting to make plays, but he has a Witchblade, no Blink Dagger. And YapzOr is Sand King.
So what does Secret's lineup do well then? If it's not this period of time, when are they going to be strong?
It's going to be PA versus the world. You're going to need to see Matumba Man at the top of the net worth chart, not second place, preferably with an Aegis, and utilizing their global vision advantage. You know, a bird scout into a roar, maybe an AA blast on top if necessary. And later on in the game, the power of the Liquid support duo was going to be negated because suddenly there's this insanely farm PA who kills off the Oracle in a crit or two. Until you get to that point, it's way too difficult to position properly because Insania is always going to be there. He's always going to save his cores. There's not really much you're going to be able to do about it as Team Secret.
So a combination of the... Because when you're drafting, you're not trying to make it PA versus the world, right?
Yeah.
Like Secret obviously had a different idea of what was going to happen here, but you're saying the Oracle and the five-man nature of Liquid, they're grouping up so much that it's hard for the puck and Sand King to do anything offensively.
At best, you're going to have like Mickey or Koifa playing this bottom lane. Sure, you could maybe make a move on him, but Sumail is... There's nothing you can do about it. I talked with, I think it was either Fog to BSJ backstage, just about how important pushing this mid lane is. So you've got enemy tower down as Liquid, and the Leshrac is free. Whenever it gets even close to the river, you're pushing it across. Insania is keeping you safe. It's not a place you can make a move. YapzOr in trouble. He'll be fine. But, I mean, Secret are not necessarily falling behind, right? They're still stacking Ancients. PA has a Battle Fury, but there's really no moves they can make. They're content to just sort of sit down. Matu's farming now his 6th or 7th stack this minute, and just kind of see what plays out.
Basically, they managed to stem the bleeding. They kept it at a 2K net worth lead for Liquid, and that's mostly thanks to the efficiency of Battle Fury PA and farming those Ancients. And that's like kind of a hallmark of PA lineups, right? Is that like you're never out of the game as long as you're still holding your triangle.
Indeed. And Liquid want to deny that.
He's with the Haste Rune, finding an opportunity, does manage to get the silence, and they're going to quickly take out the Primal Roar, but now there's the coil there as well, and that'll hold Sumail in place long enough for them to be able to retreat. Now an Ice Blast is going to nick Insania here, and Matumba Man is hoping to throw one more dagger to catch him. Maybe the puck. Nisha didn't want to jump for it. And maybe it's for the best. He didn't have his Blink Dagger just yet.
You can see how the draft can work, though, for Secret. They had a vision advantage there. They had the high ground. Sure, you trade Roar for Insania's ultimate, but then the coil for control. And then later, with the bird vision, it's going to be really easy for them to poke and prod. They've got very low CDs on the puck Sand King. AA can throw out a blast. PA, of course, with the dagger and jump spam. But the team fight of Liquid, that's the key. They have hard save and then a Chronosphere and an RP. But it's about playing around those cooldowns as Secret and potentially even using buybacks if it's necessary to turn a fight.
Well, a team fight that may just be good enough for Secret to take is one around the Roshan pit. The nice Ice Blast like that. It is dwindling, though. Nisha's just kind of poking at him. YapzOr going to go for the kill, though. Mickey is going to survive ever so barely. Meanwhile, we've got Zai, who's going to be run down by Sumail. Doesn't have an out here. YapzOr is being nailed by Taiga. Shot after shot. A Chronosphere catching Matumba Man and saving Taiga's life for the time being. With a follow-up stun from Sumail, they'll chain lock him to death. And Nisha couldn't even get in there to finish off Taiga or any of the other low heroes. They're going to still have their RP. They blow that on Nisha to ensure the 4th kill and a Roshan.
Wow, I mean, credit to Mickey, and again, just the way the Liquid's itemization is working out. He had a Sange there, otherwise he dies. He went for the more defensive style, because you can see he's going to get jumped. A lot of damage comes out. The full epi from Yapster. Watch Insania. He's not even looking at his Void. He's trying to help Sumail, and Mickey leaps away with under 150 HP. If he dies there, totally different fight. The Chronosphere secured the PA kill, and then Puck, of course, chased down at the end, but all comes down to they can't kill this Void, sitting at over 2,000 HP on Strength Treads, which, of course, was what he had toggled when he got jumped.
And that entire, like, that so fits Mickey's playstyle, right? Because he doesn't do that thing where he's off AFK farming without the rest of his team. They're not. He's always seeming to join them. So him going a very stat-focused build does allow him a little bit more leeway in that regard. 300 health talent there included. Now, as a reward, he's got himself a secondary life in Aegis and a 5,000 net worth.
It's the whole team with this concept, right? Insania, sure, he doesn't have any real HP items, but check out the mag. He's going Pipe right after Blink. We already talked about the Shroud on Sumail. Taiga sitting on a Fluffy Hat. Snapfire has way more strength gain than I realized. Of course, it is primary, but nearly 2,000 HP in a Solar Crest, so...
Yeah, Fluffy Hat helping it a little bit there as well.
Yeah, Secret just aren't really in a position to take team fights with Chronosphere and RP active. You can even see there, Liquid, so long as they have their heroes alive, both of those spells represent kills on course.
It's like they're using, Ice Blast. It's going to come in. They're going to finish off Koifa, using the 3 heroes to do so, but Mickey is not a target they can go for. They just need to try and get out if they can. Yaps are being spotted by the blobs of fire. Look at him. He's changing the Mortimer's Kisses over to where he thinks Nisha is because he knows Yapster's already dead.
Taiga's so sick with those kisses.
He really is. He spots out Nisha.
Man, is a problem on
Sumail is still trying to catch him here. Is that a haste rune? It is.
Another one.
Found another big power rune. He's going to use it to try and chase down. No.
Yeah, but that sequence was a lot better for Secret. Sure, they trade bottom, but that whole time, they're farming PA mid. The Beastmaster was top, now shoving a lane, also dragging this one away.
That's a cute play.
Yeah, free damage. And this is how you want to play this if you're Secret. You got to split the map. Team fighting into Liquid right now with their cooldowns and Aegis, it's just not possible.
Like we talk about all these early game items they're going for. They're heavily focusing on the magic damage aspect of Team Secret. It does mean that if they don't continue this ball rolling, eventually the PA is going to come in and start taking over the game, right?
Yeah. They got to stay ahead. I mean, at a point, you have a Void, right? You're not exactly going to fall off, but PA, I think, is always a little spooky. Oh, nice TP.
Smooth move there from Liquid as they take that bottom tier 2 tower, but also use it to subtly move.
Whoa.
They left Sumail behind, though, and Sumail actually getting caught gives away a dominating kill streak.
Looks like they interrupted his TP on the way out. Got a little greedy there, trying to both push and then get out. He does take the tier 2, so the outpost will be available. Surprised that really both players died there because Zai also had a bird above tower top. Not sure how Koifa was able to sneak in and get the RP. But Sumail certainly should not die there. It makes that move top not even worth it. You can see the reflected in the net worth. Only a 3,000 gold lead now for Liquid. More importantly, check the top. Matumba Man, first time in the game, I believe, is now #1.
And once you get to BKB, that'll be real dangerous. There goes a lot of the damage of Liquid.
And we've discussed the itemization. It's all magical focused because they weren't counting on PA being a problem for some time.
Cookie lands on a Yapsor, but Taiga is already dead. They're going to skewer on out before the Ice Blast could land, but here comes the reinforcements. Mickey and Sumail going for different targets here. Mickey really wanting the kill on the Phantom Assassin, throws down the Chronosphere for it. Koif on a sliver of HP, while Mickey trying to focus on Matumba Man, but he's got to go back. He's got to help out Sumail, who's currently caught by Yapsor with the epicenter. They throw out the ultimate. Insania is going to be able to give him that false promise to keep him alive, but Sumail, they're struggling to be able to stay on top of Team Secret. They're being kited around here constantly. The Cold Feet's going to be able to latch Sumail down. Now they can try and focus him down with a stun burrow strike and the Matumba Man damage. They are looking to be able to wipe Liquid here as Mickey's going to go for a high ground. TP out, just doesn't get it off in time. The Primal Roar, and now there's going to be a burrow strike. Mickey very likely to die here a second time. Whoop, gets popped down to low ground, but it doesn't matter. a team wipe. Team Secret turning the whole game around.
Yeah, they're playing flawlessly there. Secret, they want to make sure that this fight takes place on as many screens as possible. The spacing was insane. You have no synergy in the damage output from the Lesh and the Void. Mickey did get a full chrono on Matumba Man, but alone. There was no damage. Yeah. No one was even in the vicinity. Nobody was even on that same high ground. We can watch it on the replay here. Good stun in from Yapzor. He will die, but he just buys back immediately, which is the right trade. Hey, Blast might miss, but they split the fight.
Yeah, different motivations there. They could have both gone for Zai, or maybe everyone chased after Matumba Man.
Yeah, good boar micro from Zai. You saw him hit all 3 heroes in the vicinity to apply the slow. So yeah, now there's no chrono. Look at the spacing. Yapzor, he's bought back. Now he's in with the Epi, forces the Insania ultimate. Mickey still lost, still hasn't hit anybody really in this entire team fight, and everyone just runs away from him as they then kite the Mag and the Lesh. Nisha, he's going out of mana. He's used so many spells in this fight. Roar not even used yet, and Yapzor got, I believe, 3 or 4 stuns. Of course, including the need of a buyback. But either way, that's how you want to play it if you're Team Secret. Liquid, you gotta have more coordination. You cannot afford to be caught on different targets.
A rare smile from Puppy, as he knows they totally just worked Liquid in that last team fight. And now we're beginning to speed up that timeline that we were talking about, Kyle, where now, hey, Matumba Man's going to have BKB. You are mostly focused on magic damage.
Exactly.
You've also been mostly focusing on Pipe and Eternal Shroud. You don't have a whole lot of things to deal with the physical damage of Matumba Man.
You don't. You were planning on getting way further ahead as Liquid here. Because, to your point, you itemized for the mid game. You did not do anything to deal with PA. Mickey is a full item away from an MKB. You have no plus armor on your other 2 cores, any of your cores, really. So suddenly Matumba Man is king of the game, and Liquid are now what feels like an item behind. And timing-wise, yeah, Secret definitely feeling confident.
Does the game turn at any point later on for Liquid, or is it very much like they really got to get a good team fight and take control of the game right now?
It can always turn.
Okay.
It's RP, it's Chronosphere. You know,
that many big team fight spells, you always have an out.
Yeah. Same way you can never count out a team with an Enigma. Same deal here. It's just trying to do, I think, a better job. You got to bait more onto Sumail. Whenever we see this, when our observer has to work this hard, it is not good for Team Liquid.
Yeah. No, it means Secret is doing their job. They are super spread, poking constantly at the edges of the team fight, trying to find some exposed weakness right now. Maybe it's Sumail chasing after him.
Love how they're playing this. Just throwing off spells, trying to bait. You want to get these big cooldowns spent. You want to force Liquid out of position, and if you hard initiate onto this Lesh rack, it's the really only thing that can happen where you would end up punished.
Level 20 for the Phantom Assassin. Very big, very scary. Getting lots of good vision off of the Hawk. Mickey, trying to find it. Heading up to top lane real quick, seeing if they can find Sumail. Sumail, he's got a Yule Scepter. He can certainly buy himself some time, but he may need to get it off now. Oh, the False Promise barely saving him. The Essence Ring turnaround. Now they're going to be able to blow up Yapzor. Sumail looking okay here for damage, as he's going to be able to get the kill on Puppy as well. Heals up to full. Nisha does manage to catch the backline support in Insania, but they're going to use the Chronosphere to be able to make sure Nisha pays for that kill. Gets a little bit of recompense for their captain. Dying RP straight up on Matumba Man, and they're going to have lots of stuns to throw at him. No chance of being able to get out the BKB until perhaps it's too late. He holds on to it.
So you can see right there what happened. They initiated all in on the Lesh rack. Insania there with just a moment to spare, and they turn it around. It's the nature of this game. 31 HP. 31 HP he survives, and then the nature of Sand King, once you stun in, you're pretty much left for dead. They blow the roar to interrupt the cookies, but at this point, now that you get the supports killed, they can just chase, blow huge cooldowns for solo kills, and it's going to be worth.
I would just like to say I'd like to formally lodge a complaint against Team Liquid. It's not very nice of them to use their chat wheels to use a legendary commentator to outshine the current commentators. Come on, how am I supposed to get you just throwing in classic LD lines? How am I supposed to compete with that, Kyle?
You gotta come up with some better lines.
All right.
I mean, you are still boys.
Mickey, big chased away. They don't have Chronosphere, so this is not a good time to fight, even if they have Aegis and Cheese. So you're gonna retreat.
Oh. There's an idea. Commentator support packs.
Oh.
I'll take your trip.
Yeah, okay.
Support the fans
Yeah.
of Dota 2 by
I believe that. I
me.
believe that's called the autographs. I believe Valve already gave us that, Kyle.
Take what we can get. Let's see. Outpost reclaimed. The kill lead is a bit misleading, as is the gold advantage. Yes, Liquid are feeling okay. The second age is picked up. Who took the shard? Who'd they give it to? To do Snapfire.
Okay, so they got more stunts basically.
Yeah. It's actually pretty significant. It's a free 2-second stun.
Yeah.
That's pretty value.
Well, it does require you to be like pretty close to melee range on top of somebody. That can sometimes
True.
be bad, but certainly if they catch somebody like Matumba Man, keep him from using his BKB.
Yeah.
Be massive. You can see the win percentage going
Yeah.
up and down and up and down.
I actually want to state, I don't think Secret should ever be going for, that's
Oh, Force Staff getting him away. Taiga and his choice of items may have just bailed him out there. And Mickey, almost ready to go with the Chronosphere, is willing to take the fight now. Oh, Taiga still going to be found on the tail edges of the fight. Nisha assassinates him.
Okay, where are they going to find Matumba? Yes, they are.
All right. Skewer back. Do they have the stun? Oh, they missed it. Samael. He was barely off the mark, and now the BKB going off from Matumba Man. He doesn't have any of his team, though. He is all alone. Secret's not even making a move to try and help him out. They're actually gunning for the tier 3s instead.
What?
Yeah, they said, Matumba Man, you're way out of position. We're nowhere close to you. We can't help you, dog. Ice Blast. Oh, Samael leading the charge, and he's going to regret every bit of that. You thought you could defend with just 2 cores like that? Koifa does manage to get a skewer back onto Nisha. He'll jump away to his orb. Koifa survives, but without Samael, they are lacking a bit in defense. With no Chronosphere and no Samael, there's a little something missing.
Indeed, yeah. Insania was not there, did not have teleport active, so he had to do the long walk back to base. That's the second time Sumail gets caught being greedy. Once bottom, when he failed to TP away, and again top, now where he just sort of wanders into no man's land. They even had a ward there, so Secret was prepared. And I want to say, it's all about having Insania behind him. If you look at Sumail, he did what I expected. The Kaya Sanj, 30% spell life steal amplification, 25% HP regen amplification, plus the 20% spell life steal from Eternal Shroud, plus you have Insania, who's then going to give you double healing during Oracle Ultimate. So if Insania gets ult off and Leshrac has spells running, he's almost certainly going to survive because of, you know, multiplication and math and all that stuff. Alone, he's just dead. So more discipline will be required. Still a pretty even game. Matumba Man, you know, I guess he was first, so Sumail thought maybe he'd give his friend a freebie. Make sure his death was not so expensive.
14 to 23. Nag's almost done for the puck.
It's going to be huge.
MKB is done for our Faceless Void. Any other big item updates? Basher for the PA, that's decent.
You got the Sliver on Void. That's pretty huge. The status resist stacking with the Sanj and Yasha. The big issue you're going to have against the puck with Ags, just picked up, that BKB piercing coil. You can't leap. So suddenly you become susceptible to being jumped, but so much status resist will severely limit the amount of time he'll spend stuck. Top tier 3 is going to be okay, but Liquid got to be cautious. They're playing on top of Secret's vision right now. It's a good time for a smoke, but they got to reclaim their jungle.
I like that point you just made about the status, because especially if they get a coil onto like Sumail and Mickey, right? You can only false promise one of those. So the more that survivable Mickey is by himself, the easier Insania's game is to be able to focus on like, hey, I've got this glass cannon damage dealer. I want to false promise Sumail as much as possible.
Because we saw it already in that fight outside the Roche pit. Mickey, 100 HP from dying because Insania is going to be focused on Sumail. He's the squishier hero, and he does more damage at the moment. Better synergy as well with the Oracle abilities is Taiga. Gotta be a little cautious here.
Meanwhile, Team Secret, you could see their synergy, plain as day, amping up the PA as much as possible. The Beastmaster Aura, Solar Crest, giving him a pipe as well, and then they just have a bunch of disables plus an Ice Blast behind that. They are doing everything to make sure Matumba Man can go in with confidence and just blow people up one after the other.
Yep. And Liquid, it's a different style. It's all about getting their spells off the team fight. When Koif is going for a Shadow Blade. He's not worried about amping his carry. He's just trying to ensure that their initiation and their team fights are taken in the optimal way. It's Mickey and Sumail that are going to have to deal all of the damage, but that was the second Aegis we've seen Liquid take and not really utilize. This game doesn't get much easier for them as it continues.
And part of that has got to be what you were talking about very early on. Split push and vision control that Secret has, but it looks like they might just be able to find YapzOr here using the shard, the horn toss, tossing him up in the air, skewering him on back.
Really nice ability to have just for the extra stun and the guaranteed skewer. And yeah, exactly that. The later this game goes, the more Insania and Taiga are going to be in trouble, but really more Insania. I mean, even grabbing the Nether Shawl, so outside of tower range, he's currently at 4 armor, so he'll be more than 0 if he takes even a dagger from the PA.
Puppy got to be found first, but Eul's Scepter offensively from Puppy does help him get away. He's going to use this Psychic Headband. Get back, he says. Double damage onto the PA. They need to be able to blow him up now, but Sumail, he actually got stuck inside the Chronosphere. Matumaman's able to jump away, and maybe he can re-engage. I'll have to see. A bash comes out from the dagger. Mickey having to use Chronosphere and BKB, but not netting a kill there. Secret. They're going to be hungry for a fight now.
Yeah, they got a big cooldown. That's what's going to be key. No A blast, no coil. We can see there it only lasted, felt like 4.5, 5 seconds on Mickey, so effectively just taking it to the regular duration rather than the Scepter improved.
Man, I think that was 100% a kill. Sumail wasn't in the Chronosphere, right?
Yep.
Because he just changed the stun and...
Did he miss Blink in?
I think the Chronosphere was down first, but I wasn't paying super close attention. He just walked into it. Oh my God,
no.
He just walked into it.
Oh no.
Oh, he thought he could sneak through on the side there. And that may just be extremely painful, as now they may be losing Koifa on the onset of the team fight or not. Saved by Insania, no magic damage there. Just the dagger.
Whoa,
Nisha in deep. Nisha, he's in very deep and he's dead. Traded out for Taiga so far. Mickey feeling a little bit bold even without the Chronosphere, but there's going to be the buyback immediately as he turns to be able to jump away. Gets bashed up. Coil onto 2. YapzOr in deep. Goes for Insania. They're going to deny a false promise, and now the cores are in trouble of Liquid, but the damage is coming in. Koifa's going to be the first to die. Mickey with his BKB. He's feeling all right. Sumail actually heals himself up to full off of all that spell lifesteal that he's got going on. The back line of both sides are falling, but ultimately Matumaman died, and your entire lineup is predicated on his damage.
Yeah, that was such an awkward fight. I mean, what was Nisha must have just misclicked. He suddenly appears. You could see the stutter step, like, wait, what happened? And then he just dies in melee range of the Shrek. Oh, BKB, no BKB. You gotta be careful. He might catch this.
They don't have to save the Oracle. They're gonna buy back immediately on Koifa. They know Mickey's in trouble. Mickey's chain stun. Mickey's ice blast, and Mickey's dead. Sand King may be traded out, but even that is going to be tough to get the kill on. His Koifa, oh, he couldn't get off the shockwave. That allows YapzOr to be able to blink away. He goes for the TP out. They just committed murder and didn't get caught.
Man, this is a little sloppy, Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot on the line here in this game for both these teams. And there's a lot of unforced errors, gotta say. What are you doing there, Mickey? There's no Oracle alive. Enemy heroes are still alive. The magic damage, he's at half HP with no BKB. There's nobody who can save him. Like, what's the players? Do you think that Sumail's gonna land the God Stun, hit 3 heroes, and save him? There's no hope the moment he catches that Eul's. But by the way, Puppy, as the hard support, has done a ton of work. If he gets the Cold Feet into the Eul's off, suddenly a YapzOr stun represents like 6 seconds of disable. You see the giggles, and the amp from the Vortex plus the puck, like, that's it. Like, 2,000 HP to 0.
Sumail, good courier micro, but it wasn't enough. You know, I rarely see the Divine Shield anymore. People just like, oh, my courier's dead.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Not worth. Other thing. I typically don't see this as look how much gold he has saved. You don't typically see 5,000 plus held on Sumail, and the sheep stick will be a huge item. A ton saved up on Mickey as well. So that gold lead for Secret, it's 2,000, but really it's more like 10 just because of how much Liquid has in the bank right now. They want to make sure they finish those items for a team fight.
I'm surprised Sumail didn't buy a piece of the components, unless, do you think he wanted to hide the scythe? I mean, it's not going to be hidden. He just flew under vision, so.
Not sure. I love the pickup. Not sure if the goal was subterfuge or not. This is a real fast.
Look at that, boxing onto the Hawk here to make sure they're all together before the Roshan does die. Now, look at this PA. He's got an Aegis, he's got Satanic, he's going to have the Aghanim Scepter as well. If he gets level 25, this is like a monstrous power spike that is a huge difference between the last team fight Liquid took against them.
Yeah, the Ags, remember, it turns you into Katarina. You immediately refresh all spells on a kill. It is nuts. It means if he's able to pick off Insania, he can go straight for a core immediately after. You gotta be...
And
you gotta be careful.
The added time that you're invisible or whatever, I don't know what state you want to call that, but like that is also very deadly when you do so much time.
That's true.
Because even just a half a second is like, oh, hey, the 2 crits, you're dead. Taiga opens with the chain stun combo onto Matamba Man. Matamba Man getting RP'd as well. They need a little bit more, and they've got him. That's going to be the Aegis. It cost them a lot, but now they can go for the Chronosphere and Lesai. He interrupts it. Managed to get the Primal Roar before the Chrono, but it's going to be saved by the False Promise, and it's even better Chrono than it was before. The BKB is out from Matamba Man, and it's buying him a little bit of time, and he goes for the execution onto Sumail. Jumps onto him, barely. Just a little bit of HP. He needed a little bit more, but the stuns are raining in. The BKB is out. Nisha goes for the kill instead, but the Oracle, he saved Sumail's life, kept him alive, traded his life for his cores. Matamba Man gets caught in a crazy opening from Taiga. And now they're going to look for a few more kills if possible. A little slowed down here, but they do have the Blink Dagger from Taiga. And eventually they'll catch up. Eventually they'll kill Puppey here. And I'm thinking Zai might want to leave, but he's actually going to turn and fight potentially. Primal Roar goes out. Nisha, he's coming in from the side here.
Insania to neutral creep after buyback.
Once again, they're trying to do all of this one without Matamba Man, and the Hex comes in clutch for Sumail. The Epicenter might just be enough to get the kill to quit, but no! Every single time, Secret, they're so close. But now Zai's dead. He's going to join the rest of his team in the grave. That is going to be 5+ wiped off the map in Liquid. It's their turn to turn this game right around. Kyle, what's happening?
I have no idea. How the hell Taiga survive? He blinked onto the high ground, shard stunned PA to the face, cookied in, and just walked away. He survives the entire team fight. Meanwhile, buyback's forced out on Secret side. They're not going to be able to defend at this point. Sumail's 25+, which means this push is insane. Yeah, of course you go throne. You got Super Edict. You force all buybacks here. Do we have one? PA does not, but it'll be up soon. Puck dead forever.
Time to start checking out those axes. They do have the PA plus Ice Blast. That is very scary. So Liquid may just be content with forcing one buyback and saying, okay, let's just go for barracks now. The Primal Roar, Force Staff getting him away. Cookie as well. Ice Blast is going to clip him, but it doesn't matter. They already undid the damage of Matamba Man. And Mickey, you could tell he's feeling very confident as he pushes forward. They're going to be able to clean up Zai. A dive back for him. Matamba Man all in onto Sumail. Almost gets him again, but a Yule Scepter. Sumail does end up dying, but it's a 2-man RP. Mickey starts going to work. Already bringing down with a nice chain stun coming out from Taiga. The cookie and the shard is on point from this man. Liquid will take the first game against Team Secret.
Oh my God, and credit to the man. We're staring at his stomach right now, but Liquid fans, be thankful that you were able to ride on his back because Taiga somehow starts off